Senor Amenabar, thank you for being the guest of our first Vertigo video interview. It's quite the honor to have you, to speak to you. Since we very much believe in Vertigo, the magazine, as a communal thing, a community thing, we asked our readers, but also the other journalists, to send in questions. So I'll be saying their names as well. And we'll start with an obvious first one. Dominic Zender, he asked, where have you been the last 6 years?
At home, looked in my office. Well, I've been trying to come up with an interesting story, and that sometimes takes time. I mean, if you had asked me 6 years ago what I wanted to do, I would have said a movie about the devil, but I didn't know that finding the proper approach would take me that long.
So that brings me to a question that I was wondering, what was the first idea? Did you want to say something about regression as a psychological thing?
No, the idea, sometimes it's the story, you find the story and then you try to find the proper genre or style. That's what happened, for instance, in my movie Mar Adentro. I knew the story and then I thought about the genre. But in this case, it was the opposite. I really wanted to do, once I finished my previous movie, my last movie, Agora, I wanted to do a horror movie. Then I thought of possible subjects, and I thought Satan would be a cool one, because some of the best horror movies that I had seen had to do with the devil, The Exorcist or Rosemary's Baby, The Omen. But then I just couldn't find that approach. So once I, by chance, started to read or learn about the satanic ritual abuse phenomenon, I realized that I had something to say and that I could connect it to my story of the devil. The thing is, it wasn't a horror movie anymore. It became more a psychological thriller. But it was then a movie about the devil and about the mind, and that really interests me.
In a way, you could say that Regression is sort of a back to basics movie, especially in comparison to Agora.
Yeah, it's I mean, when I started watching movies, I started watching horror movies when I was like 11 years old, and my first short movie was a horror movie. My first long feature movie was a horror movie. So going back to suspense, it feels to me like something natural. There are some directors who naturally tend to comedy. I guess I tend to mystery naturally.
And did it have something to do with sort of the mixed reactions to Agora?
Before I started shooting Agora, I already wanted to make a suspense movie. So no, I think, well, sometimes when you finish a project, I try to get fresh air, and sometimes it means shifting. And regardless the economical result of Agora, which is a movie I'm very proud of, I really wanted to try something different.
Yeah. Then a question by Stan Buntings. He wants to know about all the work you've done with the big Hollywood actresses. Now we have Emma Watson. Is it, what draws you to these beautiful creatures?
Well, working with someone, for instance, like Emma Watson nowadays, I think it's like, almost every director, I think, would want to work with someone like her. He's brilliant, he's very talented, and she's beautiful, and of course she's famous. So in this case, we just threw the script to her to see what reaction we got, almost thinking she was going to say no. That happens many times, and we were lucky that she said yes. But I always ask the question the other way, which is why she wanted to work with us. And in the case of Emma, I think it has to do with the movie Meant. Also, he wanted to change the register, and also I would like to think that she had seen some of the stuff that I had done, and she wanted to work with me.
But it's interesting to see with Miss Watson, but also with Nicole Kidman, for instance, that you sort of find these people at a certain point, like a turning point in their career.
Yeah, maybe I don't know if it's luck, but I mean Nicole is a great actress, and she was a star by the time we met her. I think it was just we were lucky. We were lucky that Tom Cruise got involved, and then she read the script, and sometimes it doesn't happen that way. But in the case of women, I've been very lucky in my movies.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, you've worked with Penelope Cruz. At a point, you sort of started to make her famous, which is almost the other way around.
Yeah. Well, Penelope Cruz had already started, and you could tell that she was going to be a star from a long time ago. Actually, I thought of her for my first movie, for Thesis, and she had some problems doing a movie like that, and then we made it up for our second movie that she was in.
Okay, that's something two people were very curious about, both Anne Smit and Dominic Center. They noticed that you didn't compose the music for the first time. How did that happen?
Actually, it's for the second time that I haven't composed. For Agora, I gave up, and this time, I don't know, maybe it's that I've become lazy. The thing is, I'm not a trained musician, and it demands a lot of work and time from me. And Roque Baños is an incredible composer. I've been following him for many years, and working with in Agora with Dario Marianelli, and here with Roque, I always learn. Actually, Roque allowed me to be witness of his creative process, and that's great. So I don't know, maybe in the future I will try. But I've realized that there are great musicians that can do it better than I.
But why did you start doing it yourself?
Because when I was a child, I liked to play the keyboard, and I would do music for, somehow it was music for my stories. I've been listening to soundtracks since I was a kid. I love film music. And when I did my first short movie, I just tried and did it. And then I did it for the rest. And when I did my long feature, my producer, I think because he was trying to save money, he said, why don't you try and do it? And that's how we ended up doing the music for my movies.
And then Anne Smit, she also insisted that I should ask about your record collection. That you are a big record collector?
Well, nowadays it's not that much because we have Spotify, and you can download the soundtracks. So I don't have them physically. I have them in my library. Yeah, but most of it is what I have is soundtracks. I love John Williams' work, and I listen a lot. I mean, when I'm writing, I listen to film music all the time, and for a thriller like this, Jerry Goldsmith is perfect.
Okay. Something that I thought about, this is not the first time you work with the Weinsteins. These are two gentlemen who are very well known for being very close to the material and sometimes taking it out of the hands of the directors. Is that something that you've had discussions with them, or?
Yeah, I have a great relationship with them, I have to say. I mean, they can be tough, of course, and they have things to say, and it's in the editing when they've been focusing more. But for me, it's been quite exciting working with them, and they know how to sell a movie for sure.
Yeah, and what's the best piece of advice that they've ever given to you?
Well, when you make a movie, and in this case I've made two movies in which they are involved selling it, the United States, they send you different suggestions. I couldn't tell you one right away, but I do take account of many of them. The thing is how you manage to get the good ones and discard the bad ones.
Okay. Then Ruben Nollet, he asks a short one. What's your favorite thriller of all time?
If we're talking about thriller and not horror movie, but thriller.
You can say your favorite horror movie.
Yeah, the horror. One could be Rosemary's Baby or The Exorcist. Alien is in the movie that every director would want to make. I think. We're talking about thriller. I'm not gonna be very original. I think Seven is amazing.
Okay. Then one I came up with, sort of a psychological test. I'll say your 6 movies, and you just blurt out the first thing you think of. So let's start with Thesis.
Did you get movies that just come up with?
Just the first thing that you come up with, the first thought in your mind when I say the title.
When you see Thesis.
Yes.
Okay. Dress to Kill.
Just to kill. Abre los ojos.
Total Recall.
The Others.
The Changeling.
Mar Adentro.
I don't have reference for that. It's an Argentinian film, El Hijo de la Novia.
Okay. And Agora.
It's not a movie. It's a TV series, Cosmos by Carl Sagan.
Okay. And Regression.
Rosemary's Baby.
Okay.
You see, there's a reference for all of them.
Yep. Perfect. And then a last question by a dubious character who calls himself David Cronenberg, but I'm not sure if it's the real one. And his question was, have you ever experienced true evil?
I do feel evil exists in different levels, and there must be a pure form of evil, or the purest, I'm sure. I consider myself a fortunate guy, so I don't think I've experienced it, but I can see there's evil around for sure.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.